and salutations, my dearest friends. My name is Samantha, and today I'm going to be doing a video on books that are so messy, so wild, so crazy, but I love them. Hi, hello, how are you? Welcome back to my channel. Welcome back. If you can hear background noise, I don't know what to tell you. It never ceases to amaze me how loud my family can truly be. But this is the hand that I was dealt with in life. So today I'm going to be talking about some very messy, crazy, wild, maybe slightly problematic books that are just so addicting. They're the books that have tropes that I typically don't like, and for me to recommend these books to you, I would have to like know you, know your reading taste, know your trigger warnings. I will say a lot of these books do have some heavy trigger warnings because, like I said, they're wild, they're messy, they're crazy. We're here for a good time, not a long time, okay? Those are the types of books that we're going to be talking about today, and I am excited. I love a good mess. I love a good messy book. Here's the thing. I am a type of person who will read books for the pure enjoyment. I am here for the ride. I'm here for the journey. I want an escape from my regular life, okay? Sometimes I just don't want to read like a sweet, fluffy romance. I want to read some wild shit. And this is it. For everyone, I will tell you that. Go into this with an open mind, and I will try my very, very best to list all the trigger warnings. But just know, these books are messy. Okay, I think I gave enough of a disclaimer, but I had to give that disclaimer, so let's just hop right the fuck in. Oh my god, this first book fucked me up. Oh my god. This very first book is probably like the most messiest book that has so many trigger warnings, and we're just gonna open up with it so you know the vibe of this video, and that is Untouchable by Sam Mariano. I read this book because of Jen from the Book Refuge. I asked her for some of her favorite books with 0 trigger warnings, and she did not hold back. This book is a bully romance, which typically I despise, but it is the one and only, well, not the one and only, but one of the very few bully romances that I love. Everyone goes to the school that is heavily involved in football, and she ends up getting assaulted by one of the team members on the football team. Basically files a complaint against this player, and his coach kicks him off the team or prevents him from playing like some of the major games, and the football team is pissed. They are so mad at her, so they start to harass her and bully her. The guy that got kicked off the team is not the guy that she has a romance with. He ends up bringing a lot of his friends to kind of harass her, and one of his friends is Carter Mahoney, who is the hero of our romance book, and oh my god. So basically this group of football players ends up like cornering her in a classroom, and our hero Carter Mahoney takes it a little too far. There's so many trigger warnings in this book and I don't know how to explain it. Our hero really does take it a little too far and assaults our heroine in the very beginning of the book, but after that our heroine is very intrigued to know why he did what he did, what type of person he is, and they have this very intricate dynamic with each other. They push the bounds of consensual non-consent and just consent in general. So if you have any trigger warnings of like sexual assault, this is not the book for you. But our heroine is the strongest heroine I've ever read in my entire life. And like I said, trigger warnings, trigger warnings, trigger warnings. Here was not the Prince Charming riding on a white horse, a knight about to save you. That is not him. That is not him. They do have a version of their happily ever after, but it is in their own very intricate, dark way. I gave it 5 stars. Okay? It was a bully romance and I gave it 5 stars, and I cannot stop thinking about it. I would not recommend that book to anyone. There are very few people I would recommend it to because it is so dark. The next one is Push by Nyla K. I could spend hours talking about this book, okay? It's like a 700-page book of just messiness. This has a cheating trope. My least favorite trope ever. Okay, anyways, let me talk about it. They have a married couple, okay? Our hero and our heroine are husband and wife. They're madly in love. They had kids very young, or a kid very young. They had one kid when they were teenagers, and she is bringing home her boyfriend for Thanksgiving break. Well, our hero, the dad, ends up forming a connection with his daughter's boyfriend. Messy, very messy. The daughter and the boyfriend do eventually break up, but what ends up happening is the daughter's ex-boyfriend ends up forming a romance and a connection with her dad. Very steamy, instant, visceral connection with one another. This has an age gap trope, a cheating trope, an ex's dad trope, like literally all the tropes. Our hero, he's still married. He is still married. So our heroine, the wife, ends up finding out, and instead of being upset, she's like, oh, this is kind of hot. I'm kind of into this. Let's make it a threesome. So that is what they do. They form a polyamorous romance between the wife, the husband, and the daughter's ex-boyfriend. Does that sound messy? Yes. Is it very messy throughout the entire book? Yes. There's some more tropes in there that make it even more wild and crazy, but I don't want to give too many spoilers away. Just know it's a time. It's a wild time. All right, next is Lovers by Fiona Cole, and it kind of has a very similar premise to our first book. This is the second book in the Voyeur series. I don't necessarily think you need to read this series in order. At least you don't have to read the first book. You can definitely hop into the second book. But anyways, one of our heroes, his name is Jackson. He works at this BDSM club. It's not really a BDSM club. It's basically a club where you can like perform for people. Like people can go and like pick their different kinks and like watch it play out in front of them. So he works at this club, but he's interested in expanding the business with his boss. So he gets in charge of being the manager for a new club that is opening, and he ends up having to work with his college roommate who he had a huge crush on. So him and his college roommate were best friends, but their relationship kind of crumbled because one drunken night they ended up hooking up. His college roommate was convinced that he was straight. He was freaking out about his sexuality, so he completely abandons our hero Jackson, and they don't end up talking. Years later, they have to work with each other. Jackson's ex-college roommate, Jake, he's engaged. He's engaged, babes. He's engaged to a girl that he was childhood friends with and works in the same company with him. So now he has to work with this couple. Jake and his fiance, the couple, they're hitting a little bit of a rough spot in the relationship. They decide that they want to spice things up. So they decide that they're going to add an extra person, like a third, into the relationship. Some steamy times, some fun times. And of course they ask Jackson. Now I will say, this is very steamy, very fun, but it's not quite polyamorous, and that might be a little bit of a spoiler, but I feel like I have to put that out there. If you're looking for a fully dynamic, evenly balanced polyamorous romance, this is not it. In this book, two of the characters do have much more of an emotional connection and kind of like leave the other one out. So it works out in the end. There is a cheating trope in here as well, but it works out in the end, and the person who was like left out ends up getting their own romance, so it's fine. It's fine. Everything's fine here. Everything's fine here. Next one is a very similar premise to the last two I've talked about. Are we noticing a theme? So it is Top Secret by Serena Bowen and Elle Kennedy. I struggle to describe this plot. So one of our heroes, this is a male-male romance, one of our heroes is like this college football player that everybody loves. He's super smart, super attractive, yada yada yada. With his girlfriend for a long time, they were childhood sweethearts, and she ends up asking him for her birthday to spice things up. She ends up asking to invite a third into their relationship, like similar to the last book. The hero is interested and decides to give his girlfriend that for her birthday. How thoughtful of him. And he ends up going on this app where like a hookup app where he can like find a third for them, but he ends up finding a guy that goes to their same college, their same school, and they have a connection with one another. It becomes less about the girlfriend and more about the connection that he has with this guy that he finds on the dating app. Again, I don't want to do spoilers, but this is not a polyamorous romance. Our hero ends up discovering his sexuality and realizing that he is super into this guy that he found on the app. Turns out that the guy that he found on the app is in his frat house, and they are like enemies. They normally do not get along. They come from completely different backgrounds, and they have like this tense enemies to lovers romance, and it's so good. It's so good. It's so good. It's so good. Also listen to the audiobook. Listen to the audiobook. Teddy Hamilton narrates this, and that's all you need to know. He is the best narrator of all time. This is the best audiobook of all time. I've read this book at least like 4 times. I don't reread books often, but I've read this one 4 times because I'm addicted to it. Moving on. We have Groupie by CM Stonic. This is also a romance with many people in it. This is a reverse harem romance, and it is a rock star romance. So our heroine is going through a rough time. Okay, this book has a lot of trigger warnings. There is like trauma on every single page. She just lost her father and she's going through a rough time. Her boyfriend, her boyfriend cheats on her, gives her like an STD and abandons her and take all her money. Oh my god, I forgot all about that. Our heroine went through it in this book. Anyways, so she has tickets to a concert and she wants to sell the tickets to the concert so that she can make her way home back to her dad's funeral. As she is trying to sell the tickets to the concert, she ends up meeting one of the lead singers to the band that she was supposed to see in this concert. He ends up taking her back to like the tour bus, and it follows her romance with the entire band. The entire band. I think there's 5, maybe 6 of them in this band, and they all have a reverse harem romance with her on a moving tour bus as they are traveling across the states performing rock and roll. It's great. It is a fun, wild time. I think there's 3 books in this series, but I will say every single one of our characters, because it's multiple point of views, you get to follow all the guys. There is a little bit of sword crossing as well. They have all been through it. They all have very dark, tortured past. There is sexual assault, loss of a loved one, depression, murder. I think there's murder in this book. There's a lot. There's a lot. So go into it with an open mind. All right, babe. All right, babe. Any Jessica Kane book. Pick one out of the lot. Just scroll her Goodreads and pick one blindly, and I can guarantee you it is wild, it is messy, it is crazy, it is kinky. Jessica Kane. This whole video could have been Jessica Kane. I feel like recently I've been trashing Jessica Kane. I've done a lot of videos on her. I will link them down below. If you don't know who Jessica Kane is, she is a novella author who writes a ton of novellas on Kindle Unlimited. They are all very short. They're like 60 to 80 pages, and they're also very kinky. Usually have like an age gap, forbidden romance, zaddy kink, like that's the type of vibe for her, and I like most of them. Her newer books I do not like, and I will not mention those. I will not mention those. I've already talked about why I don't like them on my channel. I don't want to talk about it. I'm very disappointed in Miss Kane. But I'm going to talk about 2 that are just wild and crazy and I did like, so let's talk about it. But again, any of her books, if you want messiness, Jessica fucking Kane. Okay, so the first one is The Husband Sitter, and the plot alone is bonkers. It is bonkers. So, here, okay, all right. So our heroine, she ends up like finding an ad on the newspaper, the internet. I don't know, where do people find these ads? If you know where to find these ads, let me know. But anyways, she finds an ad. It's of like 3 housewives that are looking for someone to like entertain their husband. They're booked and busy. They love their husbands, but they can't really spend a lot of time with them. And you know, like, their husbands have needs. So they want to hire this girl, and like basically they like pass her around their husbands to like keep them entertained while they're booked and busy CEOs making that shmoney. I'm like totally cool with it. So she has like 3 husbands that she like rotates between. Like Monday she's with this husband, Tuesday she's with this husband, Wednesday she's with this husband, and all the wives know and they're all okay with it, and it's wild and crazy. It's a great time. It's a great time. I actually really did like this one. What is wrong with me? Okay, so the next one is called An Angel for the Devil by Jessica Kane. Again, the plot is bonkers. So our heroine, she's about to get evicted. She's about to get kicked out. Her family has had financial troubles, and they get an eviction notice from this very grumpy landlord. Like, this landlord is ruthless. He's not giving them any time to move out. He's like, pack your shit and go. So the mom, like a logical person, instead of paying the rent, she's like, hey, I don't have money to offer you, but here's my young virgin daughter. Woo! I cannot with this book. Our heroine is young and gorgeous, so she offers herself to the landlord so they don't get kicked out, and it follows this very possessive age gap romance. Is it crazy? Is there an insane power dynamic? Yes. Yes. If this happened in real life, would it be even legal or moral? No. But I like this book. Can't explain it. Next one. I don't even remember what I rated this book. Did I rate it? I don't think I rated it because it was so fucking wild. It's Carnage by Sarah Bailey. This is the first book in her 4 Horsemen series. There's 4 books in total. What the fuck is this book? Cannot even describe it to you guys properly. Like, it is crazy. It is so crazy. So our heroine, she suffers from amnesia. I don't know. There's like some accident in her childhood that she has lost all her memory. So her parents have kept her very secluded. They don't let her interact with anybody. But they end up convincing her to apply for this internship of these 4 powerful men. And she is instructed to get in there and destroy them. Kill them? Maybe. Destroy them? Yes, absolutely. So she goes with this mission in her mind, and these 4 horsemen know who she is. They are fully aware of her intentions. They actually were childhood best friends. They knew her before the accident, and they had some type of relationship with her. I really don't know. Some type of a relationship with her, and they remember all of that, but she does not, and they know that she's coming to destroy them, and they hate her. They hate her, so they, in turn, are like, you're coming to destroy us? No, babe, we're going to destroy you. Toxic enemies to lovers, office romance. It's crazy. Will you get any answers in the first book of why they hate each other? No. Absolutely not. You won't. And from what I can tell, you don't get many answers until like the last book in the series. It is wild. It is crazy. Literally every single kink that you can imagine is in this book. Blood kink, primal kink, age gap, office romance, murder. There's murder in this book. I don't really, well, that's not a kink, but it is in this book. It's wild. It's crazy. It is the most like fucked up plot. Cliffhangers. There's cliffhangers in this book. Everything that I usually do not like. But did I read the whole thing in one sitting? Yes. Will I continue to read the series? Yes. Do I recommend it to everyone? No. No, 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 no. Right, those are all the messy books. I actually have so more, but my camera is overheating. So if you want to see a part 2 to this video, let me know. Let me know, let me know, let me know. I would love to do it. And if you are like me and you just enjoy like messy books, give me some recommendations. I would love to read them. This is a judgment-free zone, babe. Read your romance. I will never yuck your yum. Never, never, babe. Enjoy those romance books. All right. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day to spend time with me. It means the world to me. I hope you guys are all staying happy and healthy, and I will see you in my next video.